Hi, this is Dean with Worldwide Trekking, and I am going to go over the gear list that you need for Patagonia. Our trips in Patagonia go to Torres del Paine National Park and Bernardo Higgins National Park in Chile, and we're just north of Puerto Natales, way down at the tip of the southern end of South America. So it sees a lot of changing weather no matter what time of year. We go typically in their spring, summer, or fall. So it is warmer temperatures, but for surely we still pack a lot of layers and are ready for anything. Patagonia is the kind of place that they say 4 seasons in a day. On our trips to Patagonia, we do stay 2 nights in a hotel. Then we spend 2 nights in our Patagonia base camp. And although we're camping, we're on cots, there's flushing toilets, there are hot showers, and we have a big dining dome there that has tables and chairs in it. We have a chef that comes in to make us really nice meals, but we are somewhat camping out, but we aren't. Camping on the ground. We are on cots, and we do provide the sleeping bags for our guests. We provide regular pillows. We provide towels. So all of that is provided for you. So mainly the gear that we're going to need is the gear that you would just be wearing, your personal gear. On this trip, you can bring a duffel bag, but you could also bring a rolling suitcase. We transfer your luggage from the hotel after 2 nights in Puerto Natales up to the Patagonia base camp, and you could use a regular suitcase. We put it in there. We're there for 3 nights, and then we transfer back down to Puerto Natales for the final 2 nights of the trip. And duffel bag, rolling suitcase is fine. I always like to think on all of my trips is how can I pack light? Wearing and bringing all the layers that we need, but not overdoing it, not bringing stuff that you don't need or multiple items of the same weight or the same style piece. We want to be able to layer up and layer down. So we think about our layering system. So once we have our uh, suitcase or duffel bag, that's going to put all the items in it. The next thing that we're going to need is a day pack. So a day pack will be just something like this. Okay, this is a 18-liter day pack. These Gregory brands I like because they come with a rain cover in them, which is really nice. And that way you don't have to try to match up a rain cover. A rain cover is a good piece of gear to have in Patagonia because it can rain quite a bit and we're still going to get out and hike. As far as personal layers, as we go down our list on what we would actually wear, I would bring a couple of these synthetic style t-shirts that would be your base layer. So I'm always going to have a couple of those so I can have a fresh one each day on the bottom, maybe a few. And then I would bring a similar weight that I could put over a tee that has a long sleeve, something like this. This is also a good style here. A long sleeve, lighter layer, but can layer over. This one has a hood, which can be nice to have, keeps the sun off, also can keep off the out the wind or just protect your ears a little bit. And then we're going to go with like a mid-weight top layer. So for me, I'm bringing something like this. This is a synthetic blend, so it's not down. It would be okay if it got wet. Mine has light sleeves, but it does have sleeves and something that's going to keep my torso warm. And I could put this over the tee, over the long sleeve tee, and then go with this if I wanted to. And then I would be able to layer right up to the top where I had like a shell layer. This is a Gore-Tex style shell layer with a hood. This one's made by Cool. There are a lot of different brands out there that make really good shell layers. Along with the shell layers, you would want a pair of shell pants. So these are my shell pants, just a shell top and bottom. The shell is going to be able to insulate you if it gets cooler, cold in body heat. It's also going to be able to protect you from the wind or any kind of precipitation. So that's going to be really good. And then it's not like we can use it all the time down there if it's really windy, but I always like to have a rain poncho. Rain poncho, if it's windy, is kind of a hassle and it can get windy down in Patagonia. But of course, if for some reason you were tired or you twisted your ankle and you had to stay in one spot, or take a long rest and it was raining out, the rain poncho can just go over you and protect you from the elements. So good emergency layer. This one's made by Sea to Summit. So it's a little more expensive. It packs really small, but it's a really good material. Rain ponchos are pretty inexpensive, so they are a nice thing to have as we go. Along with the shell pants, I would bring a pair of insulated long underwear for us. If anything, they can just be comfortable for people to sleep in when they're in the camp and in their sleeping bag. Also, you could wear your thermal underwear with your shell pants on a day that it was really foul weather or weathery, and we could still get outside, and they're going to be comfortable for you. Then, as far as on the bottom layers, you can bring a pair of long pants that are trekking pants. These are North Face, just a nice pair of long trekking pants. You can bring a couple pairs of those. I bring oftentimes a 3/4 pair of pants like this, like that. They go a little bit longer. You could bring a pair of shorts. You can have a nice day. And I would say down in Patagonia, the weather can change rapidly. But if you were wearing shorts and you had your shell pants and the weather came up, it started raining, windy, it was a little cool for you, you could always put your shell pants from your backpack on, and that would be good. We do take some ferry boat rides, and those can be exposed. You can always get inside, but sometimes you want to be outside, and that way you're prepared for everything. As far as, so that's your torso layers and your bottom layers. You're going to want, for some of the extras, I guess, you're going to want a light pair of gloves, just something that covers your hand, like this style glove, just nice with the trekking poles when your hands are exposed. If you are prone to cold hands, you could go with a little bit heavier pair. If it's windy and that kind of thing, don't need anything much more than this. I would say I would tend to go with something that's just, nice light glove, then have a beanie hat to wear as well. And you're going to have some of these neck buffs. The neck buffs are good to have. Again, you can pull them up over your ears with a baseball cap on or a sun hat. You can cover your face. You can protect yourself from cooler temps. You can protect yourself from the sun. So they're very functional in a lot of ways. So going right down the list here, you're going to want a pair of sunglasses. I like to wear sunglasses that cover the sides of your eye sockets, kind of keeping out the dust or keeping out the sun rays and that kind of thing. Not as much so you would want a pair of like metal frame glasses that sit away from your face and your eye sockets. They don't have to be a full-on glacier glass, but there are a lot of sunglasses that do fit nice and snug around the rims of your eyes. So along with the sunglasses, a headlamp. We are camping, so headlamps are really key, especially in a camp that has a lot of tents. There's a lot of guidelines that are down for the tents and stuff. So at night, although maybe you could make your way through camp in the dark or with a little bit of light, it's a lot safer to walk around camp with a headlamp on so you don't go tripping over a line that's going through camp. As far as footwear goes, I usually fly down to the destination with a pair of light kind of running shoes, something really comfortable. I then can wear those shoes like a sneaker or like a light. I wear a La Sportiva runner, and that way I can wear them around town. They're comfortable around the lodges, going to dinner and things like that. And then around camp, I'm more or less going to have a pair of Croc sandals. These are a lot easier for me to wear in the evening to the dining tent. If I have to get up in the night and go to the bathroom, they're a lot more comfortable to wear. And then as far as hiking shoes go, I'm going to wear a low top hiker like this myself. And it has to have a good sole, good traction. And this is not a running shoe. This is a hiking shoe. So it's a little bit more stiff and also has a little bit stiffer sole. So I'm not going to feel every rock under my foot. It's going to pad and protect me a little bit on the base of my foot and also give me some stability. If you're prone to wanting to have a little bit more support with your ankles, something like this, it's very similar to this shoe. It's a multi-panel shoe. It's Gore-Tex, La Sportiva, but it's a high top. Okay, so a high top will give you a little bit more support while you're hiking. So along with that, you want in here, I have a mesh bag. I have multiple pairs of crew socks. A crew sock is going to come up to the lower part of my calf on my leg, and that way it's up high enough from my shoe that I don't want to have some no-see socks or very low socks because you're prone to getting dust and debris and things inside of your shoe. And they really don't hike as nice in the long run throughout the day. So I wear something that comes up onto my ankle a little bit more and well above the top of my shoe. Along with that, your personal effects, your toiletry kit, having all your personal items like that, but also a little bit of sunblock, maybe some lip screen, some lip block, a chapstick that has SPF, things like that would be good. Some personal medications are never a bad idea when you travel. You go to a foreign country, having a little bit of med kit that has a couple blister patches in it, that has a little bit of ibuprofen, in case your knees or legs or lower back or something gets sore. And then if you want, you can have some over-the-counter meds and take them out of their little boxes. But a little Imodium AD, a little Pepto-Bismol is always just a good travel medication to have, and nothing too heavy. I do bring more of an extensive first aid kit, but nothing too much. We are in a place where we could go to the town if we needed to get something more than the basics. And your guide should have a more extensive medical kit for emergencies. A couple 1 liter Nalgene water bottles. People often like their hydration packs. I think that's perfectly fine in a place like Chile. Keep in mind that when you have a hydration pack on, you want to make sure the seal is really good on it so you don't leak into your backpack. And also be wary of where your mouthpiece goes when you set your backpack down. A lot of traffic, sometimes pack animals and other things. So if you set it in the dirt, put it back in your mouth, you want to avoid getting sick. And a couple good sun hats. I wear a baseball cap style, but you can get away with a big brim hat or something. But you definitely want to always protect sun hat, sunblock, sunglasses. Protect yourself from the sun or anything else like that. So never a bad idea to travel with a swimsuit. Make sure that you have all your camera batteries. Most of us are using our trusty cell phone for that, which we do a lot of things off of that. So having your proper cords and making sure you're charging your charging adapters when you go to a foreign country, you're not going to be able to plug into the same outlet. If it's not USB, you want to be able to plug in the outlet. So going on Amazon, say, and buying a all-in-one travel adapter is what I like because it works anywhere in the world. They usually have a couple USB ports, and they work whether you're in South America, Africa, or Asia, or Europe, or anywhere at all. So that's just convenient. So you're not fumbling around with a bunch of different adapters trying to figure out which one works. But that's the basics of the kit that you need for Patagonia. I do think that it's really important to go and go through your things and make sure you have the layers that you would want for the different environmental factors you could encounter. So, sunny days, protecting yourself from the sun, and being more, not overheating. And then as you want, you can layer up as it gets cooler into cooler days. And then, of course, the rain, possible heavy rain or heavy winds and things like that. So you're really kind of wanting to protect yourself from the elements. As far as dining goes, of course, we do eat at restaurants before we go up to the base camp, and afterwards they're casual. What I usually say is adventure casual. You are on an adventure. You could wear a pair of slacks or jeans with your travel uh, shoes and a light, simple button-up shirt's going to be very comfortable for you, and you're also going to be perfectly appropriate for any of the areas that we have our dinner in. So that's the basics of the gear that you need for Patagonia. And if you have any questions, please feel free to help us out. We're always here to help. Thank you.